We all really expected to see the M1 Abrams in combat in Ukraine, since it was announced in mid-2023 as part of the military aid to Ukraine by the United States. We were all surprised when these tanks arrived in Ukraine on September the 23rd, 2023, and it was only a matter of time before the M1 Abrams was used in real combat in all its glory. By February 24th this year, we already had images of one of the M1 Abrams being used on the front, in what appears to be a propaganda video to show that it was already in service. The video shows the patrol's activities. The video of the M1 Abrams destruction was recorded from a drone on February 26th near Avdivka in Donetsk, a city that is almost completely taken over by the Russian armed forces today. In fact, we can assume that the M1 Abrams were deployed on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and February 26th to contain the relentless Russian advance in the area and give time to completely withdraw the Ukrainian material and personnel in the area. In the video in question, the first thing we can see is the clear effect of a drone shot that, according to Russian official sources, was a Lancet. This hit the rear side of the turret right in the ammunition depot. The drone perfectly managed to penetrate the bandage, cause a fire inside the ammunition depot, and detonate them, which caused a violent total fire in the tank, which we can clearly see over time reach the crew cabin. There's also talk of a rocket-propelled grenade hitting the side of the tank, although it can't be corroborated since we only have images of the tank explosion and of it finally being destroyed. The M1 Abrams has sensors that, when they detect an impact in the ammunition storage area, it ejects the upper panels to redirect the force of the explosion outside the tank and, of course, protect the crew. From the videos we've seen, unfortunately, we can't assure that the crew survived, because remember, the impact was with a Lancet drone and the explosion could have reached part or all of the crew. The most likely scenario is that the crew came out completely safe or maybe a little injured by the explosion, since when the MON detects a fire in the storage area, it closes completely as fast as a car airbag, allowing the crew to get out, but so far we don't know more about it. Something we should consider is that the crew of the Ukrainian M1 Abrams must have very little training. In these tanks, the training started in May 2023 in Germany, long before the M1 Abrams arrived in Ukraine. 7 months of training is very, very little time, although it meets the regulatory 12 weeks that must be had to be a crew member of an M1 Abrams. Really, these tanks require very experienced crews, especially in battlefields as intense as this one. But I think it was the perfect time to put them into battle. The fall of Avdivka was imminent, and securing the withdrawal of the Ukrainian troops was vital at this moment. Something we can appreciate from the Ukrainian M1 Abrams is that they can be quite vulnerable to drones like the Lancet, as this does not seem to be a fortunate or isolated event. In one of its first battles, the M1A1 Abrams was easily defeated by the Russian forces, and it should be something to consider by the Ukrainian armed forces. They probably also overestimated the capabilities of these tanks. Many claim that this destroyed tank can be repaired, and the truth is that I doubt it, because it is in the middle of the battlefield in territory that is probably already occupied by the Russian forces, so this tank, which although it probably can be repaired, really not many channels claim that the M1 Abrams is the tank that has lasted the least on the front. In the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, it has barely lasted a day, when it really is not so. We have videos that confirm the M1 Abrams for over a month of this being in the rear, which we can assume is waiting for orders to attack. We also have videos from 3 weeks ago of this one roaming around Avdivka, and we even have videos that confirm that this has been on the front of Avdivka for days, so we cannot assure that this has been the first battle of the M1 Abrams in conflict, nor can we assure that this has been the first day of battle of the M1 Abrams in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. What we can assure is that it is the first documented casualty of an M1 Abrams, and of this there is no doubt. It is a tank that, as we had never seen it in high-intensity combat with a competent rival, we had never been able to see its real capabilities. It always armored very outdated, almost always with air support or infantry with anti-tank systems. So many people had an overestimated idea of its capabilities. Even the same American politicians announced the sending of these tanks as the final blow to Russia, and really the M1 Abrams in its most modern versions is probably one of the best tanks in the world, if not the best tank in the world. Since this is something very debatable and yet no tank is invulnerable and much less a design from the 80s, relatively modernized, we must consider that the versions we are seeing in Ukraine are M1A1 versions if they are very similar to their modern versions in most areas. To consider in terms of electronics and countermeasures are very difficult to compare. With the modern versions, in fact, the M1A2 could perfectly have intercepted the drone with its active protection system, Trophy, but Uncle Sam reserves those technologies only for his nation. But still, the A1 versions of the M1 Abrams are without a doubt a very difficult adversary. For the Soviet tanks having targeting and target detection systems with infrared and thermal, Ukraine has 32 of these tanks left, and without a doubt, these will not cause such an effective effect in the conflict, as the propagandistic media painted it. But without a doubt, they are a very good addition to the forces of Ukraine that will give Russia many problems. It will be very interesting to see when an M1 Abrams faces a T-90 or a T-80 or Russian. It would be like watching Messi's Barcelona and Cristiano Ronaldo's Real Madrid in the final of the champions. It would certainly be intriguing, and trust me, when it occurs, I'll be the first to report it to you. Share your thoughts and thanks for watching this video.